Our topic this month is going to be referrals. This is a feature of academia that is not utilized very often, but we think it deserves a bit of love, and we have some examples, some of which are from real life users to help you think about best ways to use it. So we're going to start off with Nick's Tech Talk, where he's going to go into the actual nitty-gritty details of how to use that product on a practical level, use that module on a practical level, and then I will get into some best practices for ideas for how to make that work for you and what to do with your data. And then, of course, we will take questions at the end, both for the topic and general academia Q&A. We are going to be hosting our first keynote webinar of the year. We always skip January, so we are going right into February, and our speakers this month are Robin Sacconi and Hannah Keeling from Thiel College. They are going to be presenting a free presentation on Tuesday, February 3rd, call at 1 p.m. Eastern. Note that date is a little different than we normally have it. It's on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday this time. And that topic is going to be Extreme Makeover Learning Center Edition. So they are going to be talking about changes that they made to their center and what kinds of resources they found most useful and what kinds of changes helped revitalize the learning center for them. I believe that Nick just went ahead and put that link in the chat. As always, attendance is free, so we are very excited to be presenting that, and we encourage you to sign up to reserve your space. And now I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Nick for the tech talk.
All right, thank you, Rachel. So I'm going through the referral system and how to use it in the software. And we got a few topics that we want to cover. So some common questions that we get asked, creating the referral template, which is needed for each center. And then an example with that, as well as like how the referrals go from start to end with a live presentation in the software. So some of the common questions is, where do you create referrals? So this is where you would create them. There is a little bit of setup required. We just talked about it earlier as the referral template, but you can get there two different ways. So under the main menu, it's campus and referrals. And if you guys enabled it on your homepage, there's a homepage widget. Who can create referrals? This is going to be system admins as well as instructors. So you may need to have instructors either uploaded in the system, or if there's people that may need to submit these, you could make them either admins or instructors, but either one of those roles will be able to create them. Instructors a little bit more limited. They can really just submit them, whereas if you give them system admin, they might be able to do more that you don't want them to. So just keep in mind those are the only ones that can create them. And we were talking about this earlier. I'm not able to submit one for my center. How or why is that? And every center needs to at least have one referral template. So how do we create that? Well, we're going to go under administration, center management, and referral templates in our system. And in here, you must include at least the name of the template. They are center specific, so you want to definitely go ahead and put the name of the center or something in there. So I would just recommend that. But you could have ones for different options or whatever, depending on what your questions are that you put on there later. But also you can provide some instructions to the person filling it out, as well as designate a follow-up person. And this follow-up person could be just the person that receives them and maybe assigns them out, or it could be the person that's actually going to work on these. You can also include other recipients, but these are going to be copied on any change throughout the process. So just keep in mind, if you do include other recipients, then they're going to be, CC'd every time there's a change. So now the next part is filling out your questions. So here's an example what that might look like. So you have all your basic info in there for the form itself, and then we're going to go ahead and fill out questions. If you've ever done a survey in academia, it's going to be pretty similar. So you can have multiple choice like we see at the top. or you can just have like an open text field where they can just fill in like any information, and you can make those required or optional depending on what information you need to know when a student's being referred over to the center. And this is just the life cycle. So this is kind of how it normally happens. You have an instructor who identifies a concern or an issue that the student's facing, and then they can basically look at the different templates that are available and choose the correct center template. Once that's done, they complete the form with all the required fields, answering your questions, and then the part that we're going to see live, probably this is a part that we haven't really gone over, is all the steps involved. So it's going to go directly to that follow-up person, and then from the follow-up person, that could be assigned to another folks, maybe like your tutors or counselors that you might have in the center, and it's going to get worked, and it can be under different statuses and things like that. We'll see what happens as it goes down, and then eventually it gets closed out with the instructor and possibly the student being notified along the way. You can actually choose whether or not the student gets notified every time you do that. So go ahead and look at that in Accudemia. So first thing we need to do is go ahead and get those set up. So I'm going to go under Administration, Center Management, Referral Templates. And I do have a few set up for some of the centers here, but we're going to just start off with a brand new one. And let's say this was my tutoring referral. You can really name it anything there, but then we could put instructions, please answer questions below. So identify help. And follow-up person. So then I could go basically search through the system. I could just type whoever I think needs to work on that. So if I have like Lauren Adams here, maybe that's my person who's going to send those out to the tutors or staff that need to help them. If I did have any recipients that need to be copied on this, maybe there's like a center admin that wants to see these updates on them. So let's just say that was myself. So I'm going to go ahead and put my name in there. And we'll just start off with the page title. You could copy the name of the form here. It does have an HTML editor, so you can choose like what style it looks like. I'm just going to go basic. And these instructions, I'm just going to copy that for the. You don't have to necessarily have this. It's just extra information again on that form. But I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so it did start me off with some templated questions. Now I can either keep these or create my own for time saving. I'm going to go ahead and keep these, but I do have multiple choice. So this is an example of areas of concern. I could make that required answer, and they could say like why they're concerned for the student and why they're referring them. And then this one's like saying provide more details. For the one above that, I'm going to leave that as open text because I think they just have to fill that out. I'm not going to make it required, but I do want to know what the area of concern was. And then recommendations. I think this is multiple choice as well. And you can see it pre-fill some of these out. Like I said, you can get rid of these, delete them if you don't like the options or the questions. Just using the delete there. And maybe we'll make that required, as well as it says, provide more details. So that's another text-based. And I'm just going through and setting every other like multiple choice or not. And if they're a special population, maybe they're not, so I'm not going to make that required. And then the last one is another question about providing details on that. If there was anything else I wanted to add, I could. Um, you can have as many or as few questions. I think six is pretty decent, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. Um, let's see. I think this is it right here. Yep. So I've got the referral person. Everything's there. So now that that's set up, we're going to go ahead and look for an instructor that can go ahead and fill that out for us. I'm just going to grab a random instructor here and log in with their ID. I have to set a password. All right, and just log out here. There we go. All right, so now that we're in the instructor's account, you can see there's a lot fewer options on the menu, and but one of those is the referrals here under campus. So to do a new referral, I'm going to just click on that in the top right and choose the option, and I see the new one I created. All right, and we're going to say the tutoring center. There we go. And if it's related to the class, I could say what class it is. Oops. And who my student is. All right, there you go. And the follow up on, I could select this. I don't have to. This is like if I wanted to know an update, like in a week or two. So we could say maybe 2 weeks. This will play a part, so I could actually just clear that for now. Actually, no, I can't. Once I set one, okay, never mind. I could add additional comments, choose to notify the student or not about this. And let's just say they have excessive absences. Okay. Um, let's just say that. And maybe uh, they're athlete. So I could say that. Okay, so I've got all that completed and it looks like I'm done. I do have to save it at the top here. So that referral should be submitted. Now I'm going to be able to see as the instructor the current status of any referrals that I had submitted, but I may not, I'm not going to see like others. It did go into a follow-up status. If I didn't put a date on there, it would just say new. It would be like blue and new. Because it's in a follow-up that's yellow. And then I think it's another color as well for once it's past due. Oh, red. Yeah. So if it goes past that date, and then finally when it gets closed out, it's going to turn green. But I'm going to log in as the admin on this account just to show that. And just because it is assigned to Lauren here, like it said, I can go ahead and make comments, or if I'm another admin for that center. So I can go back and edit this. If I want to make comment, I just have to click on it here. If I edit it now, it's like changing those original fields that were filled out. So these are my comments. So let's say I work with a student. Okay. All right. So I've got my comment. If I wanted to, I could pass this to someone else to take that. Maybe even note that, um, maybe I'll say, who else is gonna work on that? the same max. All right. And we'll leave the same. We could notify the student. You don't have to. But in any event, like the instructor will get notified, and then if I chose to notify the student, I could. We can update that. So what this is doing is actually building every time um, it's building kind of like a history here, all the way up into the point where it gets closed out. And I can either close it here or up here. But this is going to be kind of like the final comment on it. Okay, and I have a little story that I'm telling here, but okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close the referral so we can see now it's in its green status. And that's pretty much it. So you'll just kind of keep working those. Now, it would be different people, obviously, if Max was assigned to it, he'd want to make those comments. And I can get this if I click on it, all the details from when it was opened till when it was closed with timestamps of who commented on it, um, as well as the original referral questions that were answered. And all this is available as well in the report. So if I just look up referral here, we've got the summary or detailed report, so I can kind of get, either way if I want it, just the numbers maybe of the referrals that are coming over, or more of like the detailed information for maybe a student I can filter out on a certain student. Or if an instructor asks, oh, how many students did I refer? Can I get the details? So you could even filter out on that class or the instructor themselves. So do you have any questions on the process of setting those up or using them?
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was a way to make choosing a course optional, because we're using it with advisors, and sometimes there's just a big list of courses and they just want to refer them for just overall study skills, and
Yeah.
they don't have, they can't, sometimes they can't see they don't know what the students, they can't see their schedule, so they don't know which course, and yeah, I just didn't know if that was an option.
I think you are required to pick a class like
Hmm.
when it's submitted, because I guess the original idea was like only instructors. But what I've seen a lot of schools will do is you can actually create like a generic course for those topics that you want. Um, you might have to put in the instructions like, oh, search for X, Y, or Z topics when it asks for the course. And that way, and you would make these courses available to all students, kind of thing. So that way, it would be something that any student could be referred to the center for. And if that doesn't make sense, like I could show you in my demo account. So here, I might just do that while we wait on the video.
Oh,
Well, I can just create in Accudemia, I can create something, not in like when I upload the course data.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, so under admin campus setup, if you want to do it manually, because usually these are not going to have all the codes and things like that, but you can
Yeah.
actually create one where it just has a name. So like let's say it was academic advising, and maybe you have career counseling and like some other ones, but like make it available to all students, and set it up where it's just for your center or whatever, and then save that. And then when I go to create a referral, let me go ahead and do that again, referral. And I'm going to use one of the other templates that I had. So it's an advising referral. Um, if I had in the instructions, like, oh, okay, I don't think I put instructions for this one, but
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
did,
but I know. But yeah, the instruction like pop. Yeah. Okay.
it should show it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That works. That'll work.
And then basically from there, they just do the same kind of stuff.